You're watching News 4 This Morning in high definition.
Coming up on News 4 This Morning, it's the Vice President's first trip to St. Louis since the campaign. We'll tell you about Joe Biden's visit today. Today, Vice President Joe Biden will be in St. Louis to talk about education.
He and his wife are going to meet at the University of Missouri St. Louis to discuss ways that could make college more affordable. Let's check in with the News 4's Lisa Monzo. She's live in our web center with the preview on the Vice President's two-day trip that's wrapping up today in Missouri. Lisa?
Hi, Mark and Virginia. Today is the third meeting of what's called the Middle Class Task Force. The Vice President is hosting these groups across the country to discuss issues affecting middle-class Americans. Now, Biden spent yesterday afternoon in Jefferson City. He met with workers who make parts for a wind power plant. Biden announced there that the government will hand out $4 billion in grants to improve the nation's electric grid. And before that, he had arrived a few hours earlier here in Missouri at Whiteman Air Force Base. There he visited with some of the troops. Now, after his meeting today to discuss college tuition options for students, the Vice President will then head to Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club, where he'll announce a new program to help train teens for future jobs. We will, of course, be covering today's visit on News 4 and here in KMOV.com. In the Web Center, I'm Lisa Monzo, News 4.
All right, Lisa, thank you.
You're watching News 4 This Morning in high definition.
Well, continuing his tour in the Show Me State, Vice President Biden has got a stop scheduled in St. Louis this morning. Continuing our coverage right now, we told you this morning, Vice President Joe Biden will make a stop here in St. Louis.
Yes, he's going to be at the University of Missouri St. Louis to talk about the middle class and education. News 4's Lisa Monzo is live in our web center this morning with more on the vice presidential visit. Lisa?
Hi, Virginia. The Vice President and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will be at UMSL at 10:30 to discuss how to make college more affordable for families. Now, Dr. Biden has been an educator for 28 years and now teaches at a Virginia community college. Vice President Biden has been busy during his two-day visit here to Missouri. He spent yesterday afternoon in Jefferson City, where he met with workers who make parts for a wind power plant. There he announced the government will hand out $4 billion in grants to improve the nation's electric grid. Now, he had arrived just a few hours earlier at Whiteman Air Force Base, where he spent some time there visiting with the troops. And this afternoon, the Vice President will visit with high school students at Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club. There he plans to announce a new program designed to train young people for the jobs of the future. Now, I'm here in the KMOV.com web center. We'll be covering it here and on News 4, so join us then. Lisa Monzo, News 4.
Thank you, Lisa. Vice President Joe Biden will be in St. Louis today. The Vice President will host a task force meeting at the University of Missouri St. Louis. They're going to be discussing ways to make college more affordable. His wife, Jill, who is a college professor, will also take part.
St. Louis marks the final stop in Vice President Joe Biden's two-day trip across the Show Me State. We're live with what kind of problems he'll be talking about.
Today, the Vice President Joe Biden is going to be in St. Louis, where he's talking about education.
And so will his wife. Both of them are going to be meeting at the University of Missouri St. Louis to talk about how to make college more affordable. News 4's Lisa Monzo joins us with more on the vice presidential visit today. Good morning.
Hi, Virginia. Hi, Mark. You know, today is the third meeting of what's called the Middle Class Task Force. The Vice President is hosting these groups across the country to discuss issues affecting middle-class Americans. He started his journey here yesterday. He spent the afternoon in Jefferson City. He met with workers who make parts for wind power plants. Now, Biden announced there that the government will be handing out $4 billion in grants to improve the nation's electric grid. He had arrived in Missouri just a few hours before that at Whiteman Air Force Base, where he visited with troops there. And after his meeting to discuss college tuition options for students today, the Vice President will then head to Matthews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club, where he'll announce a new program to help train teens for their future jobs. We'll be covering all this today on News 4 and here at KMOV.com. Live in the Web Center, Lisa Monzo, News 4.
In high definition, this is News Channel 5, today in St. Louis.
In the news this morning, the Vice President will make a series of stops in the St. Louis area today. Among the topics he'll discuss, making college education more affordable. News Channel 5's Jasmine Huda joins us live from the campus of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Jasmine?
Well, the first appearance the Vice President will make this morning will be here at the Millennium Student Center at the campus of the University of Missouri St. Louis. That event begins at 10:30. In about an hour or so, you can expect to see the Secret Service coming through here to make their full sweep of this facility. Now, this is Vice President's first trip to the St. Louis area since he became the Vice President. His motorcade was spotted downtown last night. Yesterday, the Vice President spoke to airmen at Whiteman Air Force Base outside Kansas City. Biden is the chair of the Middle Class Task Force. He says the mission of this group is to get the middle class up and running again. It's an important issue as more Americans are hurting due to the economy. The focus today at UMSL will be about efforts to make a college education more affordable for everyone. Now, he's going to be meeting with several lawmakers here at UMSL, including Senator Claire McCaskill, Governor Jay Nixon, and this isn't the Vice President's only stop in the St. Louis area today. Later, he will visit the Matthew Dickey Boys and Girls Club. He's going to meet with students there, and he's also going to talk about a new job training program for young people. This event begins at 10:30 again. It's reserved for about 300 people, and a spokesman for the university just told me that all of the tickets have been taken. So no room for this event, but you can, of course, see our reports on News Channel 5 as well as on KSDK.com. Live in Normandy, I'm Jasmine Huda, News Channel 5.
Vice President Joe Biden is in St. Louis this morning.
He'll host a task force meeting at the University of Missouri St. Louis on ways to make college more affordable. Biden arrived in St. Louis last night. We caught this motorcade heading to a downtown hotel after he attended a fundraiser at the St. Louis Club in Clayton. Vice President Biden's trip to Missouri began yesterday with a stop at Whiteman Air Force Base. He spoke with airmen about veterans funding. Vice President Joe Biden says he is working to make a college education more affordable. The Vice President is in the St. Louis area this morning. News Channel 5's Jasmine Huda joins us live from the University of Missouri St. Louis. Jasmine?
Well, Jennifer, at 10:30 this morning, Vice President Biden will lead a discussion with lawmakers here at the Millennium Student Center at University of Missouri St. Louis. He's going to talk about creating opportunities for students at a time when many families are struggling from the economy. Biden has been touring Missouri all week. Yesterday, he visited with airmen at Whiteman Air Force Base outside Kansas City. This morning, he will talk about making a college education a reality for all Americans. He will be joined by his wife, Jill Biden, who's been an educator for 28 years. Later today, he'll visit the Matthew Dickey Boys and Girls Club, where he'll announce a new job training program for young adults. Now, this event does not begin for 4.5 hours, but as you can imagine, there is a lot of preparation. In just a few minutes, the Secret Service will begin their sweep of this entire facility at the Millennium Student Center. Now, all 300 or so tickets for this forum have been handed out, but we will provide coverage on KSDK.com as well as News Channel 5. Live in Normandy, I'm Jasmine Huda, News Channel 5.
High definition. This is Fox 2 News in the Morning.
Good morning, Vice President Joe Biden. Waking up in St. Louis this morning. Wonder if he's watching. He's got education on his mind. We do know that. And his plan for making college more affordable. That's the story today. Vice President Joe Biden in the Show Me State today, in fact, in St. Louis, to talk education. It's a meeting of the Middle Class Task Force at the University of Missouri St. Louis. Fox 2's John Brown is at the UM St. Louis right now. And John, I'm just wondering what time the Vice President's going to get there. And is there a chance that he's watching this right now and he says, I want to talk to John Brown?
There's a very good chance of that. He knows where we are. He's got a driver, I think, so they could find their way here. He's going to be here a little bit later on this morning. They always say if you wonder what room a president or vice president are speaking in, just follow the media cables. I think in this case, you can tell where he's going to be. All the cables up there on the patio. He's going to be in one of the rooms here at the Millennium Student Center here at the UM St. Louis today, talking about making education more affordable for families. It is the third in a series of meetings across the Show Me State, pointing out the struggles the middle-class families are facing in these tight economic times. Yesterday, Biden spoke at Whiteman Air Force Base in western Missouri. There, he thanked military families for their service and spoke to reinforce the administration's commitment to the armed services. He then wrapped up yesterday's meetings in Jefferson City, where he spoke at a factory and talked about stimulus projects and renewable energy sources. But today, it's all about education. The point of this meeting today is simply to get the conversation started about more ways to expand educational opportunities and finding ways to make sure college is accessible to everyone. The meeting begins this morning here at 10:30. But don't bother coming down here if you don't have tickets already, because they handed all those out last night. One, you won't be able to get past Secret Service, and two, you won't have a ticket anyway, so you're not going to be able to get in. Also here today, Governor Jay Nixon and Senator Claire McCaskill. and Vice President Biden's wife, Dr. Jill Biden, who has been in education for more than 30 years and is also a faculty member at a community college out in Virginia. So a big educational summit taking place here at UM St. Louis, and then the Vice President and his wife will go down to Matthews Dickey Boys Club to talk to the next generation of college students. Reporting live on the University of Missouri St. Louis campus, I'm John Brown, Fox 2 News. Plus, the future of education is also the focus of a meeting today. Vice President Joe Biden, he's in town to talk. We'll tell you all about his big roundtable discussion at UMS St. Louis coming up in a live report.
Education will be the talk of the town today as Vice President Joseph Biden and his wife make a stop in North County.
He's going to be addressing issues Americans are facing when it comes to being able to afford to send the kids to college. And Fox 2's John Brown, he knows that very well. He's got kids, I've got kids, and it's something we all wonder about.
Well, you know, Perchborn, I haven't even paid off my student loans yet, and I'm already having to deal with the kids. So, yeah, it's a big issue for a lot of families. We all know by now the cost of education is skyrocketing. That's not breaking news. The problem is trying to find ways to actually make it affordable for families. With everything else staying more or less flat and wages stagnant and the cost of education going up, there's a big gap there. So that's one of the reasons that the Vice President is going to be in St. Louis today here on the campus of UMSL to talk about ways to make it more affordable down the road. The Vice President actually came to Missouri yesterday where he spoke to military families at Whiteman Air Force Base. Then he made a stop in Jefferson City. But today it's all going to be about education. The meeting is being called Making College More Affordable for Our Families. Biden's wife, Dr. Jill Biden, is a university professor, so she will be here as well to address other issues related to education. This is the third in a series of meetings by the Middle Class Task Force, all focused on addressing key issues facing middle-class families. So he is expected to speak here around 10:30 this morning. You also have Governor Jay Nixon and Senator Claire McCaskill going to be a part of the meeting here at the Millennium Center. Tickets are gone. They were handed out last night, so don't bother coming up. Secret Service won't let you in, and you don't have a ticket. After this, the Bidens are going to head down to the Matthews Dickey Boys Club to talk to the next generation of college students as they get ready to make their way through the educational system. Reporting live in North County, I'm John Brown, Fox 2 News.
In high definition, this is News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
Good morning, I'm Jasmine Huda. Vice President Joe Biden is in St. Louis this morning. This is a live look at the University of Missouri St. Louis. Biden will attend a meeting that starts in about a half an hour. He will be joined by Governor Jay Nixon and Senator Claire McCaskill. The focus of the meeting is how to make college more affordable for people in Missouri. About 300 people are expected to attend. Later today, the Vice President will visit the Matthew Dickey Boys and Girls Club. He will meet with students and make an announcement on a program designed to train young people for the 21st century. We will stream the meeting on UMSL, live on KSDK.com, starting at 10:30. You can also watch the President's visit to Matthew Dickey live. That will be at around noon.
In high definition, this is News Channel 5, where the news comes first.
College is getting harder and harder to afford, and it's our objective to change that.
Just how to accomplish that goal is the main topic surrounding a visit to St. Louis by Vice President Joe Biden today. We'll have the latest on Biden's visit. Making the cost of college more affordable for everyone, that is the question Vice President Joe Biden and lawmakers are gathering in St. Louis today to try to answer. The Vice President just wrapped up a speech at the University of Missouri St. Louis.
She may not go into teaching.
Actually, he is still speaking, and you can see U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill is there. The Vice President is expected to wrap up shortly, and when he does, we will hand it over to our education reporter, Sharon Stevens.
You teach for America.
Vice President Joe Biden says the Obama administration is committed to making education available to everyone. Biden made the remark this morning at the University of Missouri St. Louis. He's attending a task meeting focused on the administration, and Missouri lawmakers plan to help families struggling to pay for college.
Folks, look, we understand. There just aren't, we're just not in a position to do this anymore. We're going to try to make some changes here. All of us here in this stage, we're going to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to get a quality education. That's what we're about. And to do this, we're going to make a series of investments. and we've already started. We're going to invest in families and in students, investment in America's future. We're investing deeply in preschool, which Arnie will talk about if you ask him about it, all the way up through college, making sure that students are prepared well for college, making sure that every single child in America has an opportunity to get a good education from preschool to college.
The Vice President will visit the Matthew Dickey Boys and Girls Club this afternoon. We will stream his visit there live on KSDK.com. Well, making the cost of college more affordable for everyone, that is the question Vice President Joe Biden and lawmakers are gathering in St. Louis today to try to answer. News Channel 5's education reporter joins us live from the campus of UMSL. Sharon?
Okay. Well, it's just wrapping up here. The Vice President and his panel of experts, it got started about 25 minutes late, but they did take questions from the audience. We're going to show you a little bit of that. And they did have a number of people here, students and parents, students from a local charter school, from the University of Missouri St. Louis, where we are now. And basically what the Vice President's message was is that it's time to get more people into college, and it's time to provide more affordable ways to do that. And he says that there are already some ways out there, and that the Education Department, Education Secretary Arnie Duncan was here, is working on it legislatively. Missouri's junior senator, Democrat Claire McCaskill, is working on some legislation. There's the American Family Tax Credit. That's what the Vice President referred to as a way to help families cut the cost of going to college. Here's more of what the Vice President had to say. Okay, well, basically he just kind of outlined this blueprint, which is called, this is the middle class committee that he's heading up. He's taking this around the country, talking to people and garnering ideas about how to make college more affordable in these tough economic times. Reporting live, I'm Sharon Stevens. Back to you.
St. Louis welcomes the Vice President to town. Coming up in Top Stories, what Vice President and other lawmakers say needs to be done to make higher education more affordable. Vice President Joe Biden says the Obama administration is committed to making education affordable for everyone. Biden made the remarks this morning at the University of Missouri St. Louis.